I'm Rasnades. I'm from Bromdus like Triller Jermaine. You might know my face on the music game, but right now I've jumped in a podcast game. Keeping it real, that's the aim. With no rumors, no hearsay, just real life guests. Vibes in the way, and all of the hot topics in the U. This is the reasoning. Come have a reason. This is the reasoning. Let's have a reason. This is the reasoning. Come have a reason. This is the reasoning. Let's have a...
Greetings, people. And right now it's the Reasoning Podcast, and I'm your host, Rasnado. Yo, today we got a special guest inside the building. You know, good friend of mine from a long time. You get me? One of the man them from the earlys. You understand? Been a little pioneer in Birmingham still for the scene. You understand? First come back in the day with Brasco. Used to hear him on a Passion FM. You know what I mean? DJ Bruce Lee, DJ Wiley. You understand? Done a lot for the city. Brought through these people them. You know them as Deadly, Mayhem, the NODB clan. You understand? We'll get into a little bit of that as well. But we're going to also reason about a lot of stuff in life, you know what I mean? Because he's the man of sense. You know what I mean? So we have to get the sense out the man, you understand? So, yeah. So, my guest today is none other than
Mr. Ace1 in the building.
Mr. Ace1 in the building. What are you telling me, my brother?
Blood, it's good to be here. It's good to see you doing something like this.
Yeah.
The hood needs reasoning. The hood needs sense. The hood needs education. Yes. You know what I mean? Yeah. Education is what brings the change. So when I see podcasts like this, it fits with my brand, so I'll always come on them. Yeah. You know what I mean? Because righteousness we are dealing with still.
We're glad to have you, my brother. We're glad to have you. So, yeah, man. For the people that we don't know, just give them a little brief history of your background, just so the people them understand, you get me?
Yeah,
where
man.
you're coming from and what you're dealing with, you know what I'm saying?
Grew up in Newtown. Went Lee Mason school. That's when, even from early days, I used to play musical instruments and that. So that's kind of my background, really. Musical instrument, the youth club background.
Yeah.
Oaklands and Wallace Lawler. For the man them that know, you see them two youth clubs there?
Yeah.
One's in the heart of Newtown, one's in the heart of Handsworth. My father was a youth worker, so I come up in that kind of environment, the table tennis and the reasoning with youths.
My thing was similar.
So that is kind of like my background, really, in terms of just where I grew up and how I grew up. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And obviously, for those who don't know, you was heavily involved in, especially in the early days of the music scene in Birmingham. But one of the reasons why people like me, myself, you Trillers, you Deadlies, your Saffrons, one of the reasons why we even started doing music, you understand? So just let the people them know, look about that side of things, like your musical history and that. And
yeah, man.
You know what I mean?
Really, come up playing instruments, come from a very musical background. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So the musical instruments were always there. Foundation music was always there. We were just talking about it off camera. You get me, the Burning Spears and certain, man. I grew up in that kind of 12 tribes, Rasta background. And then when I got old enough, I went on pirate radio. My brethren begged me to go on pirate radio. Brasco, you like know him as Brasco.
Yeah.
Me and him went junior and infant school together.
Yeah, William Cowper.
Yeah. You get what I'm saying? So we started touching mic on the karaoke machines together. Yeah. I was a yard MC. That's what I was originally. Yard man, rolling up my foot like my name's Ninja Man, warring people in the playground. Okay. You get what I'm trying to say? So that's my background, going up on the stings and them thing there. Then I finally put that all together into a package and got on pirate radio. So when you heard me on pirate radio, you heard me with Metzi and Wiley. And them man, they would play different rhythms. They never just used to play garage. They played garage. They used to just play anything. Metzi would play anything. And when me and Brasco was there, you gotta spit. Yeah. Like, it's not, okay, we do this genre. No. My era of spitting is whatever comes on, if you like it, spit. Lyrics and lyrics, rhythms, rhythm. If you like the rhythm, you like the rhythm. So that's kind of my background with music. And people knew me. They really know me through, as you said, the Brasco and me and Brasco situation, because we were like a mad...
Yeah, man, it was mad. You get like, no one cannot say it.
You get me?
Live, whether it's radio or live performance.
Yeah, or live performance.
It was
stupid.
You understand? I used to be there.
Yeah.
So I know.
Yeah, man.
You understand? Obviously, you know, saying enough people, the people that don't know, I've been dealing with you for years.
Yeah, man. Youth club.
Come around to yard as well and reason. And me and YG, we got YG.
Yeah, we got YG.
Come around there and reason. And this is early days, man. Man would even know what go on these days. Yeah, man. You know what I'm trying to say to you? And
I moved from there and it to going to mentor my cousin and that. I told you about that when it happened.
Right, now, we'll get into
me?
that car. Enough people don't know. So oxygen rooms is a big thing. We spoke about oxygen rooms already. I done an episode with Trilla. We spoke about oxygen rooms.
Yeah.
That's where Deadly and the NODB crew built their name.
Yeah, bro.
But
you brought me there?
Alright, then it's like enough people don't know.
Yes, bro.
I brought you there for you then to go and show them and bring them there. So that's the link.
That's the link, bro. I was doing sets with Messi.
Yeah.
Me and you and YG were close.
Yeah.
You brought me there. And then next week after I brought
and that was the start of them. They was already doing their thing, but that was of them now being known now.
Yeah, bro.
You get me? They're in the circuit now.
Yeah, they're in the circuit.
You get me?
Fully.
Yeah, mad thing. Yeah, we was talking about that the other day still. So people, you heard it, real thing, you understand? So yeah. So, all right then. So, we take it from there, yeah. And I know, so you grew up on, like, a lot of Rasta, like, beliefs and teachings and all that. But what I also know is, though, is in your later life, yeah, you walk with Christ in Christianity, but it's not, when you say Christianity, it's not what the people them think it is to be.
People don't know what it is anymore.
Alright then. So kind of explain
that
your
journey.
path and your journey and how you got there. And like
that journey was basically, I come from a family of readers and researchers. My dad's generation, and you will know this because we're talking about it off camera again. Yeah. My dad's generation, there was a big epidemic because you go into your nan's house and you're seeing a European picture of this guy with blue eyes.
Everybody, if your nan never have that,
and
the man with the blonde hair and the blue eyes on the rock.
Yeah.
It's mad.
And them so-called 12 disciples
around
this table.
Yeah.
So-called.
Yeah.
So then you hear about that now, and then there's the whole journey of finding who you are because you've been oppressed by these people who look like that.
Yes.
So for my dad's generation, they started to go on their own search. And some of them went so far that they just rejected everything that their parents told them.
Yes.
So in my yard, I had loads of books, bro. Like Masonic books. I had a book called The Kabbalah in my yard. These books are in my yard as a youth. So I come from that searching place. Yes. So I got to a place about, how old was I? I was about, I'd say I was about 26, 27. I was about 26, 27, you get me? And like the Holy Spirit came to me and says, you ain't living right. You say that you believe in me, the Most High. I know it's the Most High now. I didn't know it was the Most High then. But you ain't living right. How are you supposed to live? So then I started to go on the search more at 26 now for myself. And I looked at loads of different books, but nothing had an answer for a guilty conscience.
Okay, interesting.
You have a guilty conscience. We have guilt.
Of course you do.
And guilt comes from sin.
Yeah, we're all sinners.
So I had no way to deal with my sin. And the only place I went where I found that there was a way to deal with sin from the beginning of creation was the scriptures. Okay. There was nowhere else. People say, it's like, let me give you an illustration. I don't even want to be too long, but I'm going to give you an illustration.
Yeah, of course, go on.
If I do one bad thing today, and I go in prison and I start behaving good for the rest of my life in prison, it doesn't cancel out the bad thing that I've done.
All right, then. Yes.
So you can't do good works to cancel out bad works.
No.
Some religions teach that.
Yeah, that's not right.
In the
like,
most
wrong is wrong. You
wrong
can't
is wrong.
erase what you done.
In the Most High's books, because we all have a book. There's a book called NATO. There's a book called Ace.
Yeah.
Everything we think and do is in this book.
Yeah.
So how am I going to get my sins dealt with? Yeah. And in the Old Testament, what did they used to do? Anytime they used to sin, they used to sacrifice a lamb. Yeah. So that was when I found the remedy. Yeah. I have to accept the lamb who was sacrificed for me. Yeah. In the New Testament, John calls Christ the Lamb of God, who takes away the sins of the world. Yeah. So it all started to make sense now. Moses talking to me. Yeah. Here's where you have to go. You understand what I'm saying? Yeah, so this is how my journey came. I started to go into deep study of the scriptures from like 2007, 2006. And I was finding answers, bro. Answers to questions that no one else had the answers to. Okay. Because this is what people don't realize. They don't realize is you're always going to have a guilty conscience. Yeah. The scriptures say there's no rest for the wicked.
No, there isn't. Yeah.
There's no peace for the wicked.
Yeah.
So when you know you've done something wrong, how are you going to get it dealt with? My remedy was in the scriptures.
Okay. Yeah, man. I get you, man. That's proper. That's proper. So, obviously moving on in life, yeah. Obviously, more recently, I don't really want to touch on it too much because it's a sad subject. But
nah, man, touch on it, bro.
I like the people them to just to know because there's a reason for it. You get me? Because I'm trying to show the people them as well also about what your beliefs do for you when you get into certain situations. You get me? Yeah. Now, most recently, obviously,
August.
God rest her soul. Yeah, you lost your wife. Yeah. You know what I'm trying to say to you? Tragically, sorry about that. You get me? Condolences and all that. But bro, it's like I admire you, bro, because obviously you're gonna have your times when you're away in your own, when you're gonna feel a certain way.
When you cry,
of course you are. That's normal because you're meant to. You're meant to. So, but on the whole, though, on a normal day, bro, like you're keeping things together. You get me. Your life ain't stopped. Like it's like you kind of know that. All right, cool. I got certain things that I need to. So this don't stop. I gotta keep going. So. What keeps you going, bro? Like, I need to tell the people what keeps you going because that's a serious thing, brother. You know, enough people stop.
Okay, once again, the book that everybody likes to say is this foolish book.
Yeah.
There's something that we call devotion. It's where you get the word devoted from. So I have devotion every day. In other words, I spend time with the Most High every day. Yeah. That's what keeps me going, bro. Yeah. I have a purpose. Yeah. I have a mission. He's got things that he wants me to do. Yeah. You understand what I'm saying? Yeah. And you'll always have this thing as a human. Why me? Why am I? And all these questions. But every time you have all of that, you need to have a word for that day. That's why the prayer says, give us this day our daily bread.
Yes, wicked, man.
Yeah, so, you have to have a word every day, bro.
Getting out what I'm trying to get across.
Yes,
you get me,
bro.
See? You know what I mean? This is what I want them to know. Because there's a reason for everything.
Yes, bro.
You understand? But it's like people get lost sometimes, yeah, and they get strayed to, but also by, like, people, so much information coming from so much different directions, you don't know where to go because everyone's searching for something spiritual, something to hang on to, you know. Bro. Yeah. Well, most majority of people are, you get me, because you go through so much in life, fam. You get to the stage you think, yo, sir, I need something.
That's a situation. And this is interesting about this. You got nowhere to turn. There's certain situations you're going to go through life. There, we think we're so powerful, yeah. And we think with this and with that. But you see, when you have nowhere else to turn,
so you're vulnerable.
You better know.
Yeah. It's happened to me.
Who you are.
In that prison cell, man. It's happened to me, bro. Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? Yes. So when every day you're going to have those negative feelings. Even if someone didn't die.
Yes.
Every day. You see, the real war is the battle against self.
Yes.
People think the war's with other people. No. Every day. And I can break it down to as simple as gym. I know C4's he has a man who goes gym.
Yeah.
Yo, there might be a day where you walk past a shop, blood, and you're craving a jam donut. Let me make it that simple. Yeah. But you know, when you're on that gym journey and your mind is telling you, you know what? I don't really want to do that. It's gonna mess up my. It's gonna give you too much calories. Yeah. I don't want to do it. So that battle happens with different things every day. And every day you need a word. And that's why in Matthew 4, when Christ was tempted by the enemy, what did he use? He used the word. He said, man shall not live by bread alone, but by every word that proceeds out of the mouth of God. And that's Yeshua. That's the King. So I always have a word from the Most High every day. That's how I get through every day. Just like how we eat food every day, we have to have spiritual food every day. And spiritual food is breathing, and breathing is prayer. And eating is the word of God. That's why the word of God is called bread. So you must have a word every day. That's what's kept me going.
Yeah, man. That's good. So the people them know. So, obviously today's subject, yeah, we're talking about taking accountability, yeah. And we're also talking about, like families and the absence of the male in the family.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is a big thing as we know. Especially amongst us black people, you get what I'm trying to say to you? Not just black people, but predominantly to me, this is my belief, it's been systematically designed to take us especially out of our households and out of our homes because of the power we can possess when we're together with the opposite sex. Yeah. So, with that being said, because obviously now, you've got your child, ain't you?
Yeah.
So, you now have to be a full-time parent to your child. So you're the perfect man to touch on this subject. You get what I'm trying to say to you? So I just want to touch. First, we'll go into the absence. We're going to the absence because the taking accountability will come into that. Yeah, so what we'll do, we'll go into the absence, of the fathers in the home and the families and how the structure of the family. So just give me a little quick rundown of your belief. I know you got a few things you want to let off. Get me how you see things. Because me and you talk all the time. So just kind of just give us a little rundown of kind of how you see things and the little and the changes you think should be done and how it should be run. You know what I mean? If you can just go on, true.
Okay,
I'll elaborate when I can on. You know what I'm saying to my brother?
Okay, basically, growing up in Newtown, I remember this very, very clearly. Yeah. There's only 2 people on my road who grew up with their mum and dad. Yeah. Me and a Muslim youth. Yeah. Yeah? Yeah. No one else never grew up with their mum and dad. Yeah. Everyone else was a single parent background. Yeah. Like First point, I grew up and my job was a youth worker. That's what I'm qualified in. A youth worker and teaching is that's my quality. That's where my remit is. Yeah. So what I started to notice is there's a consistent thing. Yeah. Most of the youths who were on the road, gang members or even the girls who were acting certain ways, they come from single parent backgrounds. Yeah. So therefore the statistic must be, the link as a logical man is that the way where they've come from and their environment is connected to the way they're behaving. It's a basic law of nature. A plant needs a good environment to grow. Simple. If the plant doesn't have a good environment, it ain't going to grow properly. Simple. You see what I'm trying to say? Yeah. So I could see in my mind then, when I'm trying to help these youths and working with them throughout my time, and I did work for youth work for a good, working with young people, 25 years, from them days when you was coming. Yeah. Yeah? So I've seen it was a consistent thing. Yeah. So if that's the case then, it means there's a problem with the broken families. It's causing trauma, it's causing pain. And the main thing it's causing is people don't know their sense of value. Yes, I get that one. So the females might be going out looking for love in the wrong way because they have no value. They're not valued or they don't feel valued at home. Yes. Or they may not have experienced the value of actually a man. Yes. If that makes sense. Yes, so you might have your mum's value. She shows you that you love you, but you've never experienced a man value. You've never had a man there to show you how a woman's meant to be treated. Yes. See what I'm going to say to you? Because you're going to go off how you see your mum get treated. So yes, a lot of these women out there, I get what you're saying. They've seen their mum. It trickles down, doesn't it? Yes. So they've seen their mum, not judging nobody, because I love all the women them. Get me? But, you know, they probably went through experiences too, and they've allowed a lot of men into their life, and then your kid has seen this. So then now she thinks this is how it's meant to go, and you get ill-treated by men. But really and truly, it's not that. You get me? It's not that. So, and this is how the baton gets passed down. Yeah. Because that female or that young lady has to go into, or most likely is going to go into another relationship. Yeah. All the trauma that she grew up with, she's going to take that in if she hasn't healed it from it. Yeah. Does that make sense? Yeah, and likewise with a man, the scriptures say, therefore shall a man leave mother and father, and cleave unto his wife. So another thing we have to realize then is relationships are covenantal. Now that word covenantal is like a contract. Give you an illustration. When you go to work, before they give you the job, they give you a contract to sign. So you're not going to. You know exactly what you're getting into. They even sometimes tell you how to dress. Yes. That's off the point. Yeah. But no one has a problem with that when it's for money. Yes. Yeah? Everyone has a problem for it if they're in a relationship. Oh, the man's telling me what to do. Yeah. But when you go to work, there's a uniform that you have to wear. Yeah, you're right. So what I'm saying is, the contract or the covenant is what brings order. Yes. This is how we're going to function as a man and as a woman, and that's what marriage is about. That's why I say to you, I'm pro-marriage. Yeah? We don't just go into relationships and treat people's young ladies how we feel like it. Yeah, you shouldn't do that. Yeah? Play with their emotions, mess around with them, run off, do what we want to do, and then come back and expect them to be, oh yeah, she's just supposed to be there for me. Also, I believe that when you did that, when certain things reach you in your life as a man, you shouldn't be too shocked. Because one of the biggest sins is breaking someone's heart, you know. You know that, innit? But enough people don't know that, you know. Bro? So sometimes that's worse than even shooting a man, you know. Bro? Breaking someone's heart, you know. You know why what you're saying is deep? Because this is the point, and I'm going to add to what you're saying. Men need to realize the way they treat their kids, they're going to be judged for it. Yes. The scriptures say children are a heritage of the Lord. They're a gift to you. They're a gift. So you're the steward of them. The way the Lord's looking at them is different. It's different. You can't. Yes, bro. Until they get to the age of 12 and above, it's different. There you go. Yeah. So we're doing these things and we haven't been taught the importance of family
Right.
How can we have unity when we're creating disunity by being promiscuous? You know what that word means, right?
Yes, I do.
You got 5, 10 gal, and they're all, let's say they're all from the black community.
Yeah. And don't get me wrong, let me cut you there, Ace. Because I have to say these things, I'm just real. I've got children with multiple women.
Yeah.
Which is something that, now that I look back here, I wouldn't change it because
it's a blessing.
Yeah, it's a blessing. And all the mothers of my kids, I'm happy with them. Even the one I don't talk to, I won't get into that because it's not irrelevant. But, you know, I'm happy with it, and I wouldn't change none of my kids. I wouldn't change nothing. But what I will say is, now that I'm more maturer and I've been through certain things and I'm older, if it was now, it would be different. It would be all in one household and I'd be in the household. You know what I'm trying to say to you? I've learned that now. You get me? But I had to learn the hard way, but I do know that now. You know what I'm trying to say?
This is the foundation of righteousness. Yeah. If you can't be righteous in your house, you're not righteous
nowhere else. You're right, man.
If you can't be loyal to your kids, I don't care how you say, I'm road and I'm with them and I'm right. Or no, you're not even loyal to your own kids.
This is why I am very cautious. You see the relationship I see a lot of men have with their youths, the people I'm going to associate myself with, I look at it very closely because I know how I'm with my kids and I have my kids a lot. And I look at certain men and you don't really have your youth, so that makes me think, if you're not gonna go all out for them, who am I? Because I know how I feel about my kids. I don't feel like nothing, like I've never felt like it's about nobody in my life. You know what I mean? So if I'm not gonna do any, you know what I'm gonna say? It's like there's no, when it comes to my kids, there's no questioning what I'm gonna do. It's done. You know what I'm saying? So if I can't even be like that with them, then so that there, I watch very closely.
Definitely. So the children then are passing on this baton or receiving this baton of trauma, pain, and yes, abuse too, because some people have seen abuse.
Of course they have.
When you are there, you've saw physical abuse.
Some of it's happened to them. Yes. Especially a lot of you see with black people, a lot of the, not our generation, you know, our mums ones, like our grandparents who had kids, a lot of them were tampered with, bro. A lot of them were tampered with, bro. And by family members too.
And this is the thing. These are the kind of conversations that no one will talk about.
Yeah. This is the reason.
If we're gonna take accountability, this is where it starts.
Here we go. And that for me is where it did start, because that was the root of it. Because when they came here, everything was in check. If you look at the old pictures with your nan and your granddads in there, talking specifically black people, they are all wearing suits and neat clothes. The majority of black men own grocery stores or suit shops, tailor shops, all over the place. A lot of people's grandparents are like this. A lot of people, people's grandparents own their houses. If you know the kids what come after that, a lot of them don't. But a lot of the grandparents, they own them yards. My nan, God rest her soul, done that and left the house. You know, so to me, they started off right. But you're in the West world now, and you're in foreign, and you're in. So there's another side to it. The party, it's never been like this for you. As much as you're going through the racism and you're going through the oppression, there was another side. You used to have your little shubbies in your houses and that, and charge people to come into your yard, but then this is when it gets a bit technical now. Because you got kids sleeping upstairs, you got man intoxicated of certain things, you got, you know,
true.
You got, and because we have to keep ourselves to ourselves, because we can't trust the other race or whatever now. Say for instance, I was just, a lot of man then will be in the yard with the young pitney youth them, and you're being around them too much now. Until they're starting to sort of notice certain things when they're developing, and you know, certain little things.
Things that they should have been shielded from.
Yes. But because we have to stick together now, and we have to stay close-knit because we've just come here and everyone against us, it's in-house.
It's in-house.
It's in-house now.
And there's like a hidden code. You can't talk about it.
You can't talk about it. Because that's another thing with black people. You're told, shut up. Don't chat my business a road.
Oh yeah, informer. Yeah, inform.
And then a lot of the people would hold these things in that's where the damaging starts for me.
Definitely.
'Cause I've got family members like that, and for me, that's where it starts. You know what I mean? And then the self-worthlessness and all that. You get me? And then it trickles down. And then before they have us. And then the men too. Because a lot of the men were ill-treating as well. A lot of them were molested or physically abused, like, you know, hit, and some of them worse than the women because you're a boy. And it's them days, it's a stiff back thing. More time, if you got your dad around, you have to be, you know, it's not like now where them days there you have to be a man, bro. Your dad's going to show you how to be a proper man. And
this is the thing, though. You see what you just said? We got to go back to the basics.
Yeah, go on.
A proper man needs to be defined.
All right, then.
If I perfect illustration, right? I got a BMW. Yeah, a little basic one, I'm not rich. Yeah, BMW. Yeah. Who's the manufacturer? The man who made BMW, right? Yeah. He has the manual, right? So he tells me how the BMW is supposed to work. Yeah. Correct. Yeah. We have a manufacturer. Yeah. It's the creator. Yes. We have a manual. Yes. So we need to define what a man and woman is from there.
Yeah, yeah.
And then work with that as the standard to work towards. No one's not saying man are perfect, but that's the standard.
But when I say to be a real man, I'm quote unquote what they're saying their perception of is what a man's meant to be. Yeah. But you don't know that you're damaging somebody though, your own child, by doing that.
Exactly.
When it's not, it's remember love's the answer, you know. So that's the overrule of everything. So you putting a pressure on somebody is not love.
Definitely not.
So this is where it starts for me. You get me? Not. And then this is how we've ended up in a
sporadic situation where everyone's talking about disunity, but the main disunity that's being caused is actually being caused by ourselves in our own community by breaking the families.
Right, because we was unified when we first come in because we had no choice to be. No cats, dogs, blacks, Irish.
Yeah, that
had to be.
Yeah, that was the words, and it
didn't have a choice. It was proud to be a man, black man. You walk down the road, it's mad. My uncle told me the teddy boys, I'm coming for them and all them things. Yeah. And then, man, they have to stick. It's not no game.
They have to stick together.
That's no game. This is how 12 tribe and them things first even come about. In all the parks, Summerfield Park, Handsworth Park, all the rallies, the riots.
Yeah, those riots early.
Because we had enough. You understand? So you overstand. So, yeah, but not coming off topic now. Obviously, we're talking about
how we got to where we are now and why accountability needs to be taken.
Yeah. So let's take it from where we was in it. So we're saying obviously now we understand from the earlys and So where do we go after that now?
Where we go from there is our generation, my generation comes, your generation comes, and through these generations now, where we've become men. And once you become a man, the first step into taking accountability is education. You've got to educate yourself because as a father and a husband, the word husband, just to quickly say this, comes from two words, house and band. The job of a husband is to bond everyone together and rule that household with love. That's what house band means.
Let me start you there because we went a little bit ahead.
Because
what I wanted to get into you about before we got to there was the absence of the fathers of our generation because no one speaks about this too. Because, you know, I've noticed our generation are starting to be very good dads. The majority of my brethren
never grew up with their dad.
But they're very good dads now.
Yeah.
Hands on.
Yeah.
But all of us never have no dad. Yeah. So let's touch on that part there, bro. Trust me.
The thing is, when you start and that's your situation, you're starting from scratch.
Yeah.
Because you never had a man to look at and say, this is how I'm supposed to raise my children.
What do you think their problem was? Why?
Why that happened?
Honestly, in the first place, they all did it, bro. The divert and had bare kids everywhere.
Okay, I'll tell you what it was. When you look into the history, it's removing the standard. Everybody's saying they're Rasta.
Yeah.
Rasta comes from a man, they're following a man named Haile Selassie. Yeah. Haile Selassie tells them they must keep the 10 Commandments and follow the scriptures.
Because he was a Christian.
Because he was an Ethiopian Orthodox Christian. He's telling them that to do that, right? But they're connecting this Christian thing with European, Roman oppressors,
and Greek mythology as well. Greek mythology.
But they're connecting it with oppressors.
Yes.
To them, the word Christian is linked with the oppressors, so they're rejecting all order. So let me just throw away the whole Bible then.
Yes.
And that means they're going out and they're living with no order and no standard and just doing what they want to do. Yeah. This is the start of the breakdown, because remember, you got a load of these men who are on their little search for the truth. Yeah. But there's somehow in the culture of especially Caribbean, the diaspora, if you have one woman, you're an idiot. Yeah. That's a belief. Yeah. That's actually a belief. Yeah. It's preached in the songs. Yeah. And I love my reggae, my conscious reggae, and I love certain dancehall music, but let's call a spade a spade. Yes. If you have one woman, you're a fool. That is looked down on.
Yeah, definitely.
So
our culture,
it's philosophies and teachings that caused them to do that. One of the teachings was rejecting European Christianity because the Bible's connected to that. Them come down here and give me that. Yeah. What was we doing before that? That's the argument, you know. Yeah.
What was going on? I'll tell you because I'm good on history. What was going on before the 15th and 14th century? Because it's like they always like to try and start there.
Yeah.
Columbus days and that. But they don't want to tell us what go on before that. This is what I've noticed.
So, when you go down that route though, you have no standard again, because you're going to go to Kemet.
Yeah. And I swear to you, I was just about to say that.
You're going to go to Kemet, you're going to go back, and you're going to go back to Africa. Yeah. Now, who tells you say everything in Africa was good?
Yeah. True.
There's bare paganism in Africa. I've been to Africa.
Yeah.
Not everything's right in Africa.
Not at all.
People are just thinking. You know what gets confused? You got pro-righteousness and pro-black.
Yes.
Not for the man, they've been focused on pro-black. They're not dealing with pro-righteousness.
You know why? They're dealing with skin color. Like what you need to deal with is when you're dealing with
morality,
integrity,
what's right and what's wrong.
We all bleed water, lead.
Yeah. Come on. So that's what's happened. Some of them man that are pro-black, Africa, everything Africa. Some of them ain't even been there.
Yeah, and not for them talk the wickedness.
And they ain't even talking about it.
They know what they mean, let alone there.
Yeah, so this is the clash now. There's a clash between being pro-black. It's like, for example, let me give you an illustration. When you're pro-righteous, you have to burn R. Kelly.
Of course you did.
If you're pro-black, you know what you're going to say? No, man, them frame him. Them set him up. You hear that about enough man who go jail, enough for the stars. Oh, no, they set him up. Yeah. They set him up. They made him go jail on purpose. No, bro. He did a rape and he went jail.
Yeah, simple. What else you want to do? Don't bring colour into it, bruv.
Yeah.
He did it.
Yeah, and this is the issue. Pro-black versus pro-righteousness. We must be pro-righteousness, bro. That's what's important.
I get you, man.
Yeah? It doesn't mean you can't love who you are and love your people. But if you do, you have to tell them the truth.
You're right. For them to move forward.
So that's where if you ask me where the split came down,
the truth shall set you free.
Yeah. That's where the breakdown came with them man there then. Them man there are looking and searching and they're finding things, and the things are not pointing them to morality. The things are pointing them to what uplifts them and what makes them feel good.
And as we're talking about take accountability, because I believe a lot of them don't take accountability to this day. Like, enough of them, man, they don't even come to their youths, people like us. Enough, because I see enough, man, and they don't even apologise to their youths, bruv. You know what I mean? If that was me, if I got to a certain stage, like, all right then, like I said to you, I've got a daughter, what I don't see. Yeah? I'm not scared to say that, because it's not I can't do nothing about it. I want to see her, but I'm not being allowed to. Not by the law, but I'm not going to go and kick down nobody's door or cause any... I don't want her to see nothing mad. You know what I'm saying to you? So I'm going to protect her as much as I can. So the safest thing right now to do is just leave her where I can be, pay my child maintenance and keep it moving. You get me? Now, I have to take accountability though. Like, even though I still... Because for it to get to that stage where it's been, I've had to play a part for it to get there to where it's been in it, where we're not on terms or whatever. Now, when the time's right and she gets old enough and she wants to come and speak to me or whatever, bro, I am going to sit down to her and apologise. Even if I don't believe it was my fault and I didn't do that in my control, I am still going to apologise to her, sit down and break everything down to her so she feels complete, bro. You know what I'm saying to you? But I think a lot of these big men don't even do that.
The thing is, once again, you've got this thing called culture. And there's certain things that I've found out in certain cultures, like in certain Caribbean cultures. If you're younger than someone, you can't be right, you know. The older person's always right.
Bruv, wicked in our culture, and anyone can learn off anybody, bro.
Yeah. So that's another thing. So this is why them conversations sometimes are hard to have with the elders.
Yeah.
Because you have to be in order to take accountability, you first have to be able to self-reflect. Yeah. If you self-reflect and then you see your conscience pricks you, you know you're wrong. Yeah. So you gotta say, you know what? I know I was wrong. I apologize. And then there's something in the scriptures called repentance. If you're really sorry, the behavior changes.
Right.
The behavior changes, and that's what repentance is. You don't just say to me sorry with words.
Yeah, of course.
There's a behavior that comes with that. Yeah. You follow what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
So this is when we're taking accountability, we must reflect first and change the behavior to show that we're actually really taking responsibility for our own actions and changing them by the grace of the Most High.
So moving on from there now, we'll get to where we was. So remember, we moved to our generation now. Remember, you got into our generation. So if you can go into that a little, you get me, like, where without, like I said, our generation, for me, a lot of us, we are actually handling business. And we never had nobody.
The thing is, what I can see with our generation is that that reflection has taken place. And I think as a child, many people know how they felt not having their dad. And they said to themselves, I don't want to do that to my youth.
Like me, man. It's a big thing for me still.
And I know it's a big thing for a lot of men.
And let me just say, I'm not disrespecting my father, you know, because I love the man, you understand? And in the early parts of my life, he probably wasn't there as much as he should have been, but he was in the late, like, when I got to a certain age, when I got to like 10 or whatever, 11, and I started to link him properly, he was there. And I'm not going to lie, when I've been in some of the roughest and wickedest times in my life, he must come out of nowhere and drag me out of the mud and help me and draw me up. So I'm going to big up the man same way, but you know what I mean? I just want to get that out there. I don't want to seem like, say...
Nah, and this is the thing. The thing is, the truth, as you said, sets you free.
How do you know the Lord says as well? No matter what, you know, always honor and obey your parents.
Mother and father, yeah.
Understand you're dead like that. Don't you have an early death like that. You see your mother and father, you can't change that, fam. Always honor and obey your parents, fam, no matter what they've done to you. You get me? So, yeah.
But our generation, I think many people reflected, and many of the man them said, I don't want that for my youths. Yeah. And you can see in their behavior, the scriptures say, by their fruits you shall know them, by what they do, your actions. Yes. And many of the man them who are our generation, they're around and they're making sure they stay around because they know how it felt to not have that there for them. Yes. So I feel like it's their own trauma and the grace of the Most High that's caused them to reflect and say, I don't want that for my children. Yeah. You know what I'm trying to say? But the conversations, in terms of accountability, some of these conversations, what we're having now, need to be had. Yeah. And we need to look at more solutions because there's still a lot of, I'm going to say, activity in our inner city where we're from, this Birmingham city, that is still from that.
You know what it is? You know what else as well, though, Ace? What I want to touch on little. Because we have to balance, every life's a balance in it. So far, we've been talking a lot from the male perspective. But we also have to talk about some of the women as well, how they get fooled by Babylon as well, and they'll take on certain things and diss the man them, nothing, always running down man, and even the benefit thing. Not for them don't even see what the benefit things are trapped for them to remove the man out the house. So now you can call him worthless and say you don't need him. You know what I'm saying to you because the government's got you, when really and truly. Yeah, it's meant to be the man bringing in the things, the bread to the yard, and we all eat off this plate. You know what I'm saying to you? Like, properly.
But that, what you're saying there is still part of the same cycle because imagine a young female, right? She's grown up, say she's got three siblings, she's with her mum on her own. All she saw is her mum work hard on her own. What do you think she's thinking in her head? I can do everything myself.
Forget them, man.
That's what she's.
I see my mum do it. I
can do it. This is how it's meant to be.
Then people look up to their parents.
Then some nice man comes along and he wants to look after him. I don't need nothing from the man. What you talk about? That's what they're gonna. That's what you see. Yeah. So now, when the actual husband material comes along, you know, 'cause that's what I'm talking about. Not every man's a husband. Not every woman's a wife.
But to build a family, like we're saying, to have a strong, solid foundation. She needs to let down that guard because you're missing out on a blessing, opportunity. Someone's coming into your life. That person's come for a reason and put there.
The question is, though, once again, in order to see the dirt on your face, you need a mirror.
Yeah, true.
So you have to self-reflect. Yeah. Someone around her has either got to tell her, you need to like allow that behavior because it's not going to be productive for an actual genuine marriage or relationship. It's not going to be productive. Yeah. You follow what I'm trying to say? Yes. So you need to let go of that. So if somebody doesn't tell her or she doesn't educate herself, get to self-reflect and see herself, she's not going to be able to let go of that behavior. Yes, now she's going to she's going to damage the opportunity to have actually a successful, keyword, successful relationship. Yeah. Because one of the things that people have to realize is none of us as human beings like failure.
Yes, one thing.
We like to...
Like who you are.
We like to be successful.
At everything we do is true.
At everything we do. Yeah. But we're too, I'll be honest, we're too willing to accept failure with family.
And work on other things.
You put your youths in school, you want them to get A stars.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or 9s, it's a 9 now.
But what are you doing about it though? What you're just leaving it to the school. What are you doing extra on the side to make sure that they get the A's?
There you go. Or you go for a job and you want to be in the best position in the job. Yeah. But nobody thinks like that about family.
Yeah. It's true.
Nobody, everyone, it's one of the most important things. This is how your legacy is going to carry on.
It's the most important thing. You know why? Because that's just the pillar. It's the base. It's the foundation. And once you got that right, that's when you build up.
Okay, then. Legacy.
Yeah, that's part of it.
Exactly.
Because
so in the scriptures, there was something that they had where a man passed on his legacy,
which is very important.
So Abraham passed on his beliefs to Isaac. Isaac passed them on to Jacob. Yeah. This is how we can come to where we were 2,000 years ago and have Yeshua with a family, a mum and his stepdad, who had the beliefs that they had because it was passed down from Abraham way back in the Old Testament. So if them families failed to pass down the doctrines and teachings, how would it have got to Yeshua? It wouldn't have. So if we're going to leave a legacy and we're talking about righteousness,
teachings have to trickle down.
Teachings have to be passed down.
Each generation have to make sure that they stay on point and learn while going for the next one and then bring it down. Bro, yes. You can't afford to take your head out of the game and be distracted by the world.
By the world, yeah, exactly.
So this
So these are the solutions in terms of taking accountability. Yeah. We have to realize it's the most important thing, families.
Yes.
That is how you're going to pass on your legacy financially, but don't forget morally too. Yes. We love to think about the finances.
Yes.
Money, they're my dealers.
Yeah, that's true.
We love to think about we have to realize that it's important to pass down a moral legacy of righteousness. Yeah. That takes work. You understand?
Yeah, man.
Grounded.
Yeah,
you get me?
Nah. Trust me, it's what you say makes sense.
Yeah, bro.
You get me? So, we're gonna wrap up soon. Still, you understand? It's been, but what I want to do, where do you think? What do you think some of the solutions are, and where we can head in the future with this thing, though?
Some of the solutions are having young men's group and young women's groups.
And speaking it, because black people don't like therapy, and counselling.
Speak.
They don't really. Yeah, go on.
But I also think, bro, it's the speaking, but it's the education.
Yes, you're right. Because what's coming out your mouth is it's stupidness. It's gonna have no effect.
It's not gonna have no effect.
It has to be proper.
Older women should be teaching younger women how to actually be wives. That's what Titus says in the scriptures.
Yes.
How to actually look after their home.
Yes.
Every woman now, or I shouldn't say every woman. Let me correct that before the wall where I jumped down.
Yeah.
What you see women on is chase, get the bag. I'm a boss woman. I'm an entrepreneur.
Like you're a man, but you're not a man.
And I'm just sitting now thinking,
in a sexist way, but you're not. Calm down a bit.
Yeah, calm down. That's
testosterone thing. Just chill.
Yeah. No, and obviously, there's that mentality because they may have felt like they've been left to do that. But my point is, we have to have young men's group and young women's group. Yeah. So older man then need to sit down with some of the younger man and say, yo, if a man's getting married, they might say, yo, I'm getting married soon, don't even know like certain things. What do you do when this happens? The bigger man is supposed to say, well, let me show you what I did when I was married and show him.
But enough of them can't even say that because they've not been married to just left there.
There you go. It's true, you get me? Yeah. But we need to have young men's group and young women's group. That's going to start the education.
Yeah.
We need to get the right education.
Okay, it all starts with education. Still.
That's what changes your mind.
Yeah. The life, reading, everything. People need to know. You see, education is
key.
Very underrated. It's a serious thing, man. It's a serious thing.
So this is definitely one of the solutions. Because I remember, and you will know this, Nado, when you had the youth clubs, even if you never had a pops, I guarantee you there was an older man in there that the younger man them clicked with.
Yes.
And that man would say, yo, nobody go on the road and get yourself locked up and that. And that speech for that day might stop him from doing something that would have got him locked up that day. Make him think little. So you always had mentors and other men. Because remember, it takes a village. There's that principle too.
It takes a village.
To raise a child. You see what I'm trying to say?
Yes.
So that situation of having older men and older women to school younger men, and when I say older men and women, I mean older women and women who have got the experience. We're not talking about ones who have never been married. We're not talking about men who can't pass on nothing. We're talking about men who actually take family serious themselves.
I get you, my bro.
Principled men and principled women. You understand what I'm saying? These are part of the solutions.
Interesting. So yeah, it's mad, Ace. Trust me, I like your perspective still. I like how you brought this to the people them still. I think the people them are gonna definitely watch this, and they're gonna have not people are gonna question themselves still.
That's where it starts. That's the question. Self-reflection. Are you gonna reflect? Even if you look ugly in the mirror, you're gonna have to look at yourself and say, yes, I have done this.
Yeah.
And nothing ain't wrong. We all make mistakes.
Yeah.
But how are you gonna go forward and how are you gonna rectify? Now you've seen the dirt on your face from reflecting in the mirror. Yeah. What are you gonna do about it? You're gonna leave the dirt, or you're gonna change?
You're right, Ace. And with that, I'm gonna leave it at that. That there is perfect, bro. How you just ended that there, yeah. Are you going to leave the dirt on your face when you look in the mirror, or are you going to clean it up? Yeah. That being said, this has been the Reasoning Podcast. I am Rasnado. This is Ace1.
Man of sense in the building.
The man of sense.
Keep reasoning.
It's been a mad episode. Big up C4 behind the camera. All Right Productions, yeah? Mad. We're out. Done now.
This is the reasoning. Come have a reason. This is the reasoning. Let's have a reason. This is the reasoning. Come have a reason. This is the reasoning. Let's have a reason.